All the ZX10R Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice for the ZX10R Masters Cup, and Kawasaki motorcycles. Welcome to the penultimate round of the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup powered by Red Square. It's the final national championships of the Extreme Festival at Zwartkops International World of Motoring, and there's a big crowd that's come out to be entertained. And you don't find much more finer entertainment that comes out of the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup. It's incredible to think there's 25 riders going to battle here for the penultimate round. It's been such an amazing season, and a big battle expected here this weekend with Graham van Breda, the championship leader.
Yeah, it's very close in the championship, like it's been the whole year. Today the grid is exceptionally close. We haven't done threes at Zwartkops that I remember for probably the last 2 years, and the whole front row is on threes today, so the pace is quicker than it's been, I say, for the last 2 years. So first, second, third and fourth today, it's anybody's game. Just going to do my best, and obviously hoping for a podium today, and yeah, if we can get 2 podiums both heats and score good points, that'll be the plan.
His closest rival will be Jason Lamb from East London.
No, unfortunately, we don't get to ride here a lot. I haven't been here since last year, but we're back into it. The bike's going well, and we'll see what the weekend brings us.
It's always great to see the battles amongst the rivals and battles amongst the machinery. Some older generation ZX10s on the grid versus some of the new machinery. Nice family atmosphere down in pit lane. Wayne Shelley's always a big contender here at Zwartkops. Look out for Trevor Westman pushing hard. And a new man to the series from Westman's stable, Piers Canute.
I love bikes. I'm from London, England, if you can't tell from my accent. My dad bought me my first motocross bike on my 4th birthday in England, so I used to race motocross as a kid. I'd never ridden a sports bike until 3 years ago. I'm 44 now, so I was about 41. I bought a sports bike. Just love the adrenaline, love the rush. Just like, I kind of describe it as kind of your personalized roller coaster in a way. And then there's just the fitness side of it. There's the camaraderie, sort of getting to know the guys here. Yeah, I just love everything about it. It's just a good challenge to have at this stage in my life.
Final preparations now on the motorcycles as we get ready to go racing here at Zwartkops. As the bikes head out onto the circuit now, let's have a look at how they qualified. Westman, Purificati and van Breda, the front row ahead of Jason Lamb, Hein McMahon and Peter Voss. He'll be looking to resume that battle with Wayne Shelley in the Grandmasters, Apanaganapathy and Teddy Brook. Then it's Varinga, Henk Kruger and Renatus van Niekerk, Johan Leroux, Byron Rothwell and Dieter Hazeman, Safisa Temba, Reggie Seal, and Sigel Gocci, ahead of Jacques Cruz, Ian Harwood, Lubabala and Sana. A welcome return to Zwartkops for Landy Sinden, ahead of Jonathan Schwerin and Piers Canute. Join us after the break for Race 1 action. Welcome back to Zwartkops International World of Motoring. We're on board with Henk Kruger as he comes to take up his position on the grid for Race 1 of the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup. 25 motorcycles about to go to battle for the penultimate round of this championship, and it's a big fight to the front end expected between Jason Lamb and Graham van Breda. There's only a row that splits them, and probably only just a couple of meters between the two of them as they get ready to go now for this Race 1. Out front though, Trevor Westman was almost on lap record pace to set the pole position earlier on. He'll be pushing hard to stay ahead of Damien Purificati, who had a phenomenal round at the previous round of this championship at Kyalami. Can he do the same here at Zwartkops? Purificati will be pushing hard to try and stay up ahead and keep out Van Breda and Lamb. They won't worry about the championship. They'll be looking for the race victories. We're looking straight back at Jason Lamb from Trevor Westman's point of view on Team Wayward's Kawasaki ZX10R Masters. And here we go. Lights out. And are we racing? Look out for the start as well from Hein McMahon. He's always good here at Zwartkops. Little wheelie off the line there. And Slucky goes side by side with the Foss in towards turn 1. Around the outside goes Hein McMahon. He hangs on. Henk Kruger with a good start. Tucks in behind Apana Ganapathy as they head towards turn number 2. Jason Lamb dives on the inside. Moves up into what is now third and fourth place battle with Westman. Westman losing out ever so slightly there as they come. Oh, and a little foot off the peg there from Graham Van Breda. He just managed to stay on the motorcycle. Westman's on his tail as they head up onto the back straight for the first time. It's Purificati who leads out. What a start there from Damo. He hangs on to the lead at this stage. Here comes Johan Leroux inside, trying to find a way through on Varinga. Varinga's got some pressure coming from Sophie September and right on his tail. Look at the start coming out of Teddy Brook and out of Henk Kruger. On the brakes, it's Westman up into second place now. Just drops Van Breda into the clutches of Jason Lamb. That's the championship battle. It's 3 and 4 on track. Fifth place at the moment. It is Slucky, Hein McMahon on their tail. And then the championship battle leaves the two men out front to fight for the win on the day. Damien Purificati hangs on for now. But can he keep out Westman, who was on lap record pace, as I said? And can he possibly break that 13-year-old lap record here at Zwartkops for ZX10R? That's in the hands of the Mac Attack, Stuart McLeod. The rest of the pack come flying through and complete that first lap in anger. There's the pressure coming from the Team Wayward machine of Trevor Westman, trying to find a way through there on Purificati. Damien Purificati hangs on. This is Westman's point of view, looking straight back into the eyes of that HJC helmet of shore of Graham Van Breda, championship leader. And behind him, it's Lamb. Jason Lamb sitting pretty at the moment, running with the championship leader as the rest of the pack come through turn 4. Henk Kruger with some pressure being applied there from Varinga. And that Wheels Online machine of his going so well as it closes in on Henk Kruger. Golf Racing colours there on that Kawasaki of his. He's got a bit of pressure now coming from behind. He's trying to close things down there on the Silver Surfer, Teddy Brook, who's also doing a fantastic job to do a similar thing there and catch onto the back end of a Panaganapathy. Purificati hangs on as they go down towards turn 8. He has not been bedded yet. Here comes that battle we mentioned. Peter DeFoss versus Wayne Shelley. The old men of the mountains going at it. And of course DeFoss has been around literally since the inception of the ZX10R Masters Cup Championship. And he's now fighting with Wayne Shelley, a seasoned campaigner here at Zwartkops. We're on board with DeFoss, the John Gonjosi Kawasaki trying to hang on to that Shop 74 machine. And there's a bit of pressure. You can just hear it in the background coming from the Shop 74 bike. This is Hein McMahon, the K9 Law Enforcement Kawasaki. What a run here from Slucky. He really has had a super run here at his home circuit. And a lot of time in the saddle at the Thunderbikes Championship rounds has helped him out to be in the hunt at the front here. Top 5 honours here and possibly a top 3 in Class A. Hard braking from Purificati closes the gap down again on Westman. Westman hangs on to the lead for now. Lamb is closing onto the back end and looking for a way through there on Van Breda, but can't find it just yet. How's that Gen 4 machine onto the brand new ZX10 there of Westman? That's the differential there. It's possibly just the new machinery that's giving Westman a slight advantage. But Purificati's not worried about it at all. He's just throwing that machine around with no worries whatsoever. Same thing could be said here from Slucky's point of view. On to the second place in the championship and fourth place at the moment, Jason Lamb. Lamb's got to try and find a way through there on Graham Van Breda. There are only 3 more races in this championship to go. 1 will be later today, and 2 will be at the final round of the Regional Extreme Festival. And they've still got some action to do in that. This championship is not done yet. Purificati coming back at Westman, looking for a way through turn 4. Oh, that was a big look. Didn't quite get up the inside, though. Tyre Martin, Max for Cars, Kawasaki of Lamb, losing ground now to that Stefanuti Stocks machine of Graham Van Breda. But he's closing the gap down on these two. The fight between Westman and Purificati is definitely slowing them down slightly and allowing Van Breda to close in. It's interesting to see that Purificati's bike is back in pristine looking conditions. It's very much World Superbike colours that Yanagawa used to run. Damien Purificati, after that crash yesterday, has got that bike back up and running and looking as good as ever. This is the John Gonjosi outsourcing machine. Battle for Grandmasters here between himself. That is DeFoss versus Shelley. Shelley usually starts from pit lane at the Thunderbike races to give himself a little bit of extra practice. It's certainly paying off well here. But to fight against Peter de Vos is not an easy thing to do. He certainly has got a great bit of pace. And in fact, my first outing ever on a motorcycle gave me a lot of tips on how to get around Zwartkops. So he's going to be a tough man to beat. Further back in the pack, nice little fight on here between Sifiso Temba and Dave Varinga. And just ahead there, of course, of Henk Kruger. Further back, Schwerin fighting with, Ian Harwood at the back end of the field there. Jacques Cruz in that little pack too. So there's not too much action at the front end, but there's lots of action right through the pack. They're staying line astern for now. No one showing their cards just yet in those first 5. 6 and 7 now coming through turn 6. And is there going to be a move here from Purificardi? Damien Purificardi looks like he may have a wave and might have something up his sleeve here to get through on Westman. But as I said, that new machinery of Westman just seems to have a little bit of advantage. There you can see the advantage that comes into play. But watch for the late braking. How is this from Damien Purificardi? Closes right underneath the exhaust pipe. In fact, runs a bit wide. And now into the clutches there of Graham Van Breda. Van Breda might make him pay for that. There is Varinga. Waiting for the rest of them to come through here. Sifiso Temba keeps on it and is in a huge fight here with Dieter Hazeman and Sifiso Temba fighting ahead of Byron Rothwell and Steve Golgocci. That is such a great little battle. Renatus Van Niekerk in the mix there too. This is Jason Lamb trying to close down now on Van Breda in the closing stages. Can he do anything about his championship rival? He's got to try and find a way through. Van Breda getting the edge over him, even though it's 3rd and 4th place they're fighting for, will still give him a little bit more of an advantage in the championship heading into the next race today and the final round on the 18th of November. Across the line. We've got a couple more laps to go and Westman hangs on for now. But he's being pressurized at almost every single corner, every single braking point there by Damien Purificardi. This is a phenomenal ride here out of Hein McMahon for 5th. He really has had a turnaround in the latter part of the season in that K9 law enforcement machine. And that Kawasaki really goes well, particularly here at Zwartkops. Just got to try and find a little bit extra pace there, maybe for the second heat. Apanaganapathy still being pressurized there big time. And there's a fight on there between himself and Johan Leroux. There's a big look back from Van Breda. He knows they're coming to the closing stages and he wants to just make sure there's enough breathing room there between himself and Jason Lamb. Lamb might see that as a little bit of an ignition to the flame. Can he maybe give him a little bit of a run to his money to the line? He certainly seems fired up enough. And he's now closed the gap down to about 2 bike lengths. So there's hardly anything in it between the top 2. 3rd and 4th still up for grabs. That's the championship battle between Van Breda and Lamb as they come out of the final corner. Amazing to see that little look back there. With 2 to go, can he hang on? Jason Lamb realizes that he's got to have a go here at what would arguably be the second home track of Graham Van Breda. We haven't had a lot of rounds of ZX10 this year, but we're going to finish up the final 2 at Zwartkops. As we're on board here with Henk Kruger down into the final corner. Look at this battle. It's a great battle here. Panaganapathy, JLR in there as well, and a nice run from Teddy Brook, the Silver Surfer. Can he try and find a way through down him? Let's have a look and see. Looks like Varinga's dropped back ever so slightly, just into the back end there. Dieter Hazeman's now got ahead of Sifiso Temba as they come through turn 1. The battle continuing there. Byron Rothwell just tucked in behind them. Still no change up here from Jason Lamb. He has not found a way through on Graham Van Breda. But I think he might be settling for second here, unless something opens up in these last couple of corners. He has a big look. Oh, he's had a massive look here. Up into turn 5, and Jason Lamb goes into 3rd. So the time, he gets a little bit squirrely out there. Is Van Breda going to come back at him? No. Van Breda had another look, but it's Lamb who hangs on, only just. So Jason Lamb has squeezed through there in the opportunistic move of the race to get up into 3rd place. So is that going to be able to hang on now? Can he keep it all together? Can he keep out Van Breda as they go into the final lap? It's Westman from Purificardi. Lamb ahead of Van Breda. Van Breda will be thinking to himself, do I go for this or don't I? There's just so many, things that can go wrong if you have an attack at this late stage of a race. And 4th place behind Jason Lamb is still enough to secure the championship lead into the second race of the day. Further back in the pack, nice to see Lundy Sinnen back on track. And a nice return here for her. And there's Piers Knut about to be caught now by his teammate. So it's the team Wayward boys at it. Inside line from Westman. And following suit, there's Purificardi trying to use these back markers maybe to his advantage. Westman will be well aware of what Damien Purificardi's attempts are going to be here as they come into Lubabalo Nsana. Lub's still recovering after that big crash at Kyalami, but great to have him back on circuit as well. And coming to the checkered flag, around the outside goes Westman, inside goes Purificardi. It's not enough though. Damien's going to have to settle for second place. Westman's going to get the victory. The killer comes through for the first win of the day and takes the victory in the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup. Amazing run there from Jason Lamb. With a lap and a half to go, stealing third place. And speaking of stealing, Wayne Shelley trying to steal the victory here from De Vos, but he hangs on with a little sly look over the shoulder. Lovely stuff. Westman taking the win over Purificati, and that is Class A 1 and 2. Jason Lamb gets third place and the win in Class Bs, and De Vos down in sixth place gets the win for Class Cs. Henk Kruger wins out his battle over David Veringa and Safisa Temba. Byron Rothko was up there as well with Renatus van Niekerk. Ian Harwood just inside the top 20, and then outside the top 20, Landy Sinnen, Lubabal Nsana, and Piers Canute.
Had a pretty much a okay start, sat behind Purificati, and just made a move, and I just from there had a little bit of a rhythm going, and it was enough to take me home in first place. So I'm super happy, and well done to him, and to all the riders. Brilliant race.
Did Westman hit a seagull out there? This is not Phillip Island, buddy. This is Zwartkops. What a fantastic run, though, for second place for Damien Purificati.
Yesterday I had a massive crash. My bike was in pieces, my ankles blue, swollen, I can hardly walk. Anyway, I managed to get a good lap in, and I got into second place for the start. From the start, I stuffed my start up, but I managed to sit Graham from the door up into turn 2. And managing to get the whole shot. I led for about 2 laps, and then Trevor Westman came past me at turn 2. He got a very good block pass, and then I just sat there and I thought, let me just bring it home. After all the crashes and stuff, I didn't feel like being in any more pain.
Welcome back to action from the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup, powered by Red Square. We're at Zwartkops International World of Motoring, and it's race 2 as they come around to take up the positions on the grid. Trevor Westman taking the first victory of the day. Damien Purificati gave him a fantastic run. Peter De Vos, the man we're on board with, has taken the victory in Class C in that first heat. Can he do another one here and maybe give Wayne Shelley a good run for his money to the final stages of this penultimate round of 2023's championship? Race 2 come to the line, and Westman's the man to beat. He was just off lap record pace in qualifying. Can he maybe find that pace here in race number 2 and see if he can squeeze out that 13-year-old record of Stuart Macattack McLeod's? Hein McMahon had a fantastic run, 5th place overall, and a top 3 finish in Class A for him too. Let's see if he can do more of the same here in race 2. Lights are about to go on. When they go off, we go racing. There we go. Stand by as they light things up. What a start in that mid-pack. It looked like it was a phenomenal start coming out of Hein McMahon. It was. And Apanaganapathy went with him too. So as they come flying through turn number 1, Steve Galgocci around the outside of him, looking for a way through is Lubabalo Nsana. Whole shot goes to Van Breda. That is exactly what Graham Van Breda needs to get out front and get away from this pack, particularly Jason Lamb, as they come through and complete that first part of the race. Lap 1, we're on board with Apanaganapathy, the ART racing boy, absolutely flying through turn 3. He's looking to try and close things down now on Johan Leroux, who's just up the road from him. This is a good run from Purificati up into the battle again with Westman, but the two of them have lost out there big time to Van Breda. He's turned the wick up here big time in race 2. Jason Lamb realizes that and has to get on the move. And Lammy is on the move up ahead of Wayne Shelley, who got a phenomenal start as always here at Zwartkops. Always a man to watch out for is Wayne Shelley, particularly at the Zwartkops International World of Motoring. As they come flying through turn 6, down the hill for the first time. Got to keep an eye on those Bridgestone tyres. They're a little bit cool still coming through the left-handers, so they'll be a little bit wary on these first 2 laps. Once that first 2 laps are in the bag, they can give it everything they can, and those tyres come into full effect. They come flying down into turn 1. Lap 1 completed. Lamb losing ground here, big time. Tyre Mart and Max Cars Kawasaki has to try and close down on 2 riders before he can even have an attempt to go at his championship rival. It's like he's lost out slightly there, didn't quite get the start. Oh! Is that Lamb? Yes, it is! Jason Lamb with a massive moment out of turn 2. Riders putting their hands up, warning the riders behind that there's a rider down as well as the bike. And Jason Lamb has had a massive high side coming out of turn 2. Red flag, as we expected. So Jason Lamb with a big moment coming out of turn 2. He was on the ground for a while there. Hopefully he's okay. Let's have a look at the replay. In fact, it's a low side coming out of the exit of turn 2. and it just flung him left and right, and he just ends up ragdolling across the circuit. Fortunately, looks like he's okay. Let's have a look at it from an onboard here from Hein McMahon. McMahon had to just squeeze through and avoid both Lamb and the down motorcycle. Jason Lamb's point of view, here it is, coming out. Oh, the back end just steps out. There it is, and it goes sliding. Lamb out of this one. That is huge for Grand Bradar, but not great for the championship. It means that we're going to be missing his closest rival as we go to the restart. Lights off and we're racing. This time, is it going to be Westman or is it going to be Van Bradar to yet again get that hole shot from that inside line? He seems to have the knowledge of the circuit, and it's definitely playing into his hands here for a potential second hole shot on the restart. Has he got there? No. Westman's hung on this time. Purificati around the outside. And I think Van Bradar probably going to just ease off the pressure slightly, realizing that Jason Lamb is no longer involved in this race. And also realizing that third place will be ample points. But Van Bradar will definitely still keep the fight on with Purificati and Westman. As a racer, you want to keep your eye on the prize. And to do that is to go flat out as fast as you can. Here comes a move on the inside. Savisa Temba getting the inside of Golgochi. Set Golgochi up ever so slightly. I think he may have run wide. Oh, yes, he has. There you go. Onto the kiddie litter and through turn 4. Kiddie litter is not always an easy place to go off. This is Westman looking straight back into the eyes of the hard-charging Damien Purificati. Purificati's got Van Bradar right on his tail. And there is some big maneuvering happening. Let's have a look at the replay here. Into turn 4. A little bit of problems there, unfortunately. And just a sit up there from Savisa Temba. He goes down. And that's him out of this one for race 2. Big pity there. He's had such a great final part of the season. And the IM63 and Team Kenya Racing man is down. He's okay by the looks of it. Marshall comes across to check him out. Yeah, there he is. Stands back up again. And it will be double yellows into turn 4 for the next couple of laps until they remove that. News just in as we got double yellows as well. Jason Lamb has been sent off just for a concussion test. He seems to be okay, and fortunately not too badly injured, so he'll be okay to come back for the final round on the 18th of November here at Zwartkops. Back to the front end battle though, and it's Van Bradar versus Purificati. And waiting to pounce is Slucky has had such a good run. Hein McMahon has turned things around here at the end of the season in such a big way. He's got Shelley on his tail, but there's a bit of a gap there and a bit of breathing room before he sees Wayne Shelley. But he's concentrating on his efforts here to possibly get an overall podium. That'll be an amazing run and possibly put him in line for Rider of the Day. They head up to the top of the hill again. This is Damien Purificati, late on the brakes, closing in on Westman. Westman controlling things from the front end. And you've got Shelley and Peter DeVos behind that. This is a Gen 4 ZX10 fighting amongst some new machinery out there. I don't know how Damien Purificati is doing it, but he's doing such an amazing job to stay in amongst some slightly newer machinery. And as I said earlier on, running with those Yanagawa World Superbike colours, certainly I think giving him the run for his money here. Big time. Canine Law Enforcement man, there is Hein McMahon. And he's had a fantastic second race here. Top 4, it'll be third in Class A, but he's looking for a third overall. That's what he's hunting for here, big time. John Josie outsourcing Kawasaki, coming out of 3. Just running smoothly through there. Nicely done there from Peter DeVos. And he's also closed the gap down now on Wayne Shelley. So there's a potential fight on there. Then it's a Panaganapathy. JLR looking for a way through. Can he find one here on possibly Teddy Brook? The Silver Surfer there on that Brook Refrigeration Kawasaki. He's got the big Dave Varinga behind him. So fights all the way through this pack, as we always see in the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup. Stefanuti Stocks and Motul Kawasaki in third. Van Bradar, I think, has rolled out. He realizes third is enough. He doesn't have to fight these guys. He's going to wait. If something does go wrong, of course, he will accept that invitation to get through. If there's definitely some kind of maneuver that spoils the day for Westman or Purificati. But running in third place and running with the kind of pace that those top 2 are running, he's happy with. Shelley still maintains the lead over Panaganapathy and DeVos. DeVos just up the road there from that ART bike of Apanas. And here we go, on board with the Panaganapathy down into turn 2. Can he close that gap down there on that John Gonjosi Kawasaki? The Silver Dream Racer of Peter DeVos is always a tough bike to beat here at Zwartkops. There are some Zwartkops specialists, there's no doubt about it. But this man comes from Cape Town. And Trevor the Killer Westman has certainly found his feet and his wheels here. But there's big pressure from Purificati in the late closing stages here as he looks on the inside of turn 5. Oh, that was very close. He's had some big moments here at this circuit as Purificati in the past. He had a big one on a Friday in qualifying. And he's now looking to possibly spoil the day here for Westman and steal that double victory away from him. And Bradar just waiting to pick up the pieces if something goes wrong. That's exactly what Graham's doing. Just sitting pretty there in third. and letting them fight it out. He's happy with the pace, and they've got a lap to go. So as they come across the line, 4th place still in the hands of Hein McMahon. Canine Law Enforcement Kawasaki. 5th place still is Wayne Shelley on Shop 74's Kawasaki, and behind him the outsourcing of John Gonzozi, and that comes in the form of Peter de Vos. What an amazing run there from those two riders. They really are the sort of elderly statesmen of the field. Not the oldest rider out there. JLR is still in the pack, that's for sure, and still fighting hard for honours. That is the way he does it. Further back, Renatus van Niekerk continuing his little fight, and that's with Dieter Huizeman in the second heat. So slightly change up there with the loss, of course, of IM63's Safiso Temba early on. He's not in that pack as he was earlier on. They come to the checkered flag though, and it's Westman with a double victory on the day, and that'll sort things out here nicely for him, moving him up possibly into contention for a top 3 spot in the overall championship with that double victory on the day. But Van Breda's 3rd place has definitely given him a possible one hand on the trophy. We'll have to wait and see if we see Jason Lamb back again. Class C to the line. De Vos has got through, and he's got ahead of Shelley. So that battle ends up in the hands of Peter de Vos. There's Wayne Shelley, and a big shout out there from Hein McMahon to all his fans, with a 3rd overall and Class A 2nd place for Van Breda in the middle of Westman and McMahon. De Vos in 4th, Shelley in 5th, and Napana Ganapathy in 6th place with LaRue, Brook and Kruger, and then Big Dave Varenga. Rothquil and Golgochi with a fantastic battle for 13th and 14th, and a much better improved ride from Landison in 17th. But let's catch up now with Van Breda.
I got a really good start in the first heat and felt, the track was slippery, but I got into a nice groove, and I think I pulled about a 4-5 bike length lead. Unfortunately, Jay crashed, and I hope he's okay. Shame he looks a bit sore. I really hope he's okay. And then the second start with Jason out, nobody's near me in the championship, so I wasn't as desperate. I hung onto Damien and Trevor for a while, and with 3 or 4 laps to go, there was really no point trying to crash on the slippery surface, so I just brought it home in 3rd. Big thanks to Stefanidi Stocks and obviously to Motel and HJC Helmets. Thanks guys for backing us, and DRD Chains. Thank you for the support.
We said the Premier Motorcycle class of South Africa would bring you action, and 26 points in the championship as they head to the final round sees Graham Van Breda leading out over Jason Lamb. Trevor Westman in with a shot though in 3rd. And what a way to finish things up here. We'll be heading back to Zwartkops International World of Motoring on the 18th of November for that final round of the SunBet ZX10R Masters Cup. All the ZX10R Masters Cup action is proudly brought to you by SunBet, Red Square, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice for the ZX10R Masters Cup, and Kawasaki Motorcycles.